everybody that seems to want to be healers has this great desire to want to heal the world. And it does start with yourself.
Well, yeah, I think when we think about how we make an impact, we don't realize sometimes how important it is to have all the knowledge of yourself and the health of yourself and the balance of who you are kind of carried into those moments.
And I think that the key word you said there was health. I mean, having health can be and play a key point in pivoting whether or not it's easier to be and radiate yourself and whether or not it's harder to do it. Because when you don't feel good, it's really hard to be able to go and keep that seventh plane connection. Health is a huge thing these days.
I think sometimes we don't even recognize what we need to have healed to really kind of be ourselves. Like when we first were on our journey together, we were going through different things, and you'll experience this sometimes as a theta healer or even not a theta healer. If you're a really intuitive person, you pick up on what's going on in someone else's life really easy, maybe not your own. You don't give yourself kind of that same reflection. And then when you do, you can't really move a person to fix something. They have to kind of have that awareness on their own, right? They have to, even if you know what the door is, they have to choose to walk through it. They have to see it. They have to make those things for it to really be effective.
That's true.
So when we first kind of came together on our journey, we would do scans with each other. We would do different things. And I think every time we did a scan, I would tell you to go to the doctor. I'm pretty sure.
And I absolutely did not want to go to the doctor. I was like, no doctors. I'm not a doctor person. I would just like to stay away from the doctors. I'm good. Doctors are not really my thing. Me personally, you can go to the doctor, enjoy.
I think we spent a lot of belief work just kind of figuring out where that started from and a lot of what the experience was. And in doing so, it led to a moment where you had kind of moved forward from some of the things that happened. When we talk about health, your life is a series of events and things that you've gone through special and unique to you, to who you are inside and the way you react and what you feel. And your part was a lot of other people kind of pushing when you went to seek advice or seek to find that balance in your life. And the same thing happens to all of us. Sometimes we don't allow our own self-healing or our own self-worth to come together and allow us to know how valuable we are because we have all these influences outside that have pushed one direction or another. And even though we're supposed to have people around us in all levels that we can trust and speak with
and support us and love us, and at least that's what you would hope that you would have surrounding you.
In those situations, you feel like you really can't express certain parts of yourself or you have to hide certain parts of yourself. And when we mention how you're going to be able to help heal the world, those are parts of yourself that are important. Those are the parts of yourself that probably are the most impactful when you can be honest and earnest in the way that you communicate with the people around you and what's going on in their life. You can make a connection. So we did lots of belief work. Then I went to the doctor because every year we go to the doctor now.
Yes, I mean.
Then I still did to have checkups and make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. It's a wonderful relationship that we have with medical professionals and our particular medical professional friend. But at that time, you were still working on that. So I remember I went in.
Yes, you went in, and I felt so compelled after working on so many different things that I actually said something in his, time frame about my issues. And I was not really planning on saying anything because I don't usually just say something in somebody else's medical time frame. And I had said, hey, I have something I wanted to work with on. I have something that I want to look at. I have this issue with my neck right here. I'm not sure what's going on, but I can't lose any weight. I work really hard. I've been bodybuilding. I've been eating just perfect, but I can't seem to lose this weight. Now I was in great shape. I wanted to be like 10% body fat or something like that. It didn't matter. The point was I wanted to be a specific way.
Point was you were working out all day.
Every day. I couldn't be like.
And your body wasn't responding.
It wasn't responding the way I wanted to. So she checked out my neck and she's like, has that always been there? I was like, what are you talking about? Has this always been here? And she was like, yeah, has this always been there? And I said, I don't know what you're saying. And it ended up that I had some big weird thing on my neck. And was like out this far, and I didn't know it's always there. How was I going to know? I looked at the mirror and I didn't see anything different, and ended up being that, she got me into another doctor that needed to check me out and recognized that I ended up having cancer.
When they find out that Raena has thyroid cancer, they don't know what kind exactly yet.
No.
Because they want to see, and they go in and do the surgery, and they figure out and come back with the sizes of everything and what stage it's at. And there's all kinds of wonderful pieces of information. And this is the fun part. When Raena found out, she was 1 nanometer, which is the size of one molecule of ATP, which is really, really tiny.
Which is like, like a little safety pin size of a
smaller.
Oh,
that's a good way to think of it.
Like a safety pin size end of it.
About as far as you can get away measurement wise, that particular kind of cell going to stage 4.
Which that's like kind of scary. That means I waited that long to actually do all that belief work and come to that realization that I needed to go in and see a doctor.
Well, we would do work on it. She knew there was something to work on, but there was still a part of her that didn't want to see it, that didn't want to work on it. And it was a part of her that had to do with speaking who she was and speaking her own truth in life. And even though we started to work on some things and do some things, the step that she needed to have that awareness and healing of everything that was going on, and even the doors that she needed to open, was something that she wanted, because she wanted to step forward in this way and be able to speak and share and even inspire. But there were other things that were blocking her. And it took a little while for her to recognize how important it was to focus on herself and speak up for what her own needs were, to be able to trust the people around her, that they wouldn't just maybe hurt her, they would be able to help her. And if we're going to reach out and connect to the world, we have to open up these same doors inside of ourselves. We have to make sure that when we communicate, we know how to speak our own truth. We're not holding things in that can make it worse or make it more difficult. Some of you on this journey know when things were founded by my mother, that she would hop around on one leg to keep working and keep taking care of things. And she'd be the first to tell you that it was very difficult, and it took a process of her figuring things out. In her case, it took having a party to say goodbye and being told from her connection that she was going to be here whether she had a leg or didn't have a leg. And that spurred her into action for herself, knowing her own value. Raena found her own value in the process. She went back, opened up the pictures in her life, and started figuring out when there was something a little different in her neck. And
and surprisingly, it had been there a really long time. I was kind of shocked at how long that was a little off and had looked a little bit farther away from my neck than I had realized. And I had been keeping that truth or that ability to speak.
So as we're kind of reaching and we're doing these things and we're making that connection to, we have to find that healing in ourselves. And we really have to know who we are before we can connect and maximize what we're doing with the world around us. And that even comes down to knowing how to best put yourself out there in the situations that you have. Like if you are having a really rough day and all you feel is anger and all you feel is frustration, then the moments that you've been manifesting from the universe to create are going to be created and connected with anger and frustration. So those are normal emotions. We're supposed to have those things in certain situations, but they're not supposed to dominate our currency, as we would call it, or our energetic exchange with the world around us. And if we don't take that little bit of look and figure out why these things are happening, and that they can happen, and that we understand that there's a specific reason, and even knowing that the reason is okay, and allow all of that acceptance to come in, to communicate back and to share the truth of ourselves. That's where we start closing things off and we start causing difficulties. And even though we're manifesting something, we don't allow that into reality. There are lots of theta healers who work 1 day a week because that's the day that they can maximize their energy and put their efforts into it. And they have a lot of things that they require to have that balance. They require having time and effort in many other directions to feel charged enough to give the best things out there. So they just do appointments 1 day a week, or they do one class, and that's it. For some that works. For others, it's knowing kind of how you fit and what you communicate might be more. For us, it's a constant stream of connection and action to this energy.
And allowing yourself to connect to that creator of all that is and radiate who you are constantly. Just being able to walk into a store and do that and allow that radiating love and unconditional love all the time to every single person that we meet makes a huge difference in knowing that they can feel it, that they can trust it, and that they can be themselves in any moment. When we walk into the store, they always are having that sense and feeling it, so they can be able to just say whatever they feel, and they'll just start doing it just randomly. People will walk up to us and just start talking about whatever their day is. And they go, I don't know why I'm saying this to you, but hi, my day's been really kind of crazy today. And I just wanted to let you know. And today's been kind of different. And yeah. And hi, what's your name again? And then they just start talking to you.
You have to realize that's part of life too, is connecting to all the energies around you. And so if you need half hour, you need a day to decompress, you have to communicate and recognize that the best version of you is the most balanced in communication to your needs and the needs of people around you. You can't help anybody if you're not having that kind of balance and connection within yourself. Otherwise,
and if you're not feeling well,
otherwise what ends up happening is you're kind of working on a version of yourself, and your cells and your supercomputer is so smart that it puts all your problems and kind of takes them and makes what's going on in another person's energy and returns it back and feeds you a lot of your own needs, which means you attract a lot of people who also bring a lot of awareness to your own needs. And that it kind of limits the pool of what you want to connect to in your life. You want to open that up so that you're attracting all kinds of people, and that you know how to balance it and take care of things. And even if you have a very busy day, because we know how to bend time, or a very busy week, you know how to work with things. Your needs, the little things that help balance your energy. At this point on our journey, we're down to very deep understanding of our cells and how they work in certain moments. We know the patterns that work best. We know what our energetic needs are. We have extra things that help us see where we're off physically. We have little analyzing devices that let us know if we're burning more fats or carbs. We have more little devices that let us know if we're moving more or less, and how much how much movement in a day is ideal for us, how much is too much to knock us out for the next day, and if it is going to, how that's going to affect our other days. Our bodies are so smart. We're putting all this together, and we have all these tools, but your body already knows. You don't need a little breathalyzer thing. Your body knows. It's communicating. We don't always listen. We like to say, body, you're going to do what I want you to do today.
It's true.
Or energy, you're going to do what I ultimately want to do. I'm going to trump you. And really, your cells in this perfect supercomputer are solving the problem. And it's always interesting because they'll give off signals about what's going on, and they'll give them off years in advance. Like with Raena, she had signals when she started to go back. She could go, okay, this is when this started, and this is when that started. But she could do that after she had
fixed it and recognized those sort of signals were being put off the whole time. I don't know why I didn't look at it sooner, or why. I mean, I tried to fix some of those things, but it just didn't work with me. I wasn't ready. I couldn't allow that trust into my life any sooner. And I'm glad that I did when I did, because I probably would have let that stage 4 kill me. But here I am today saying that I was able to change it. And I'm really glad that I did.
So in doing so, even though there's kind of these constant awarenesses, then we have the moment where we figure something out. And when we figure something out, we allow healing in ourselves. We don't just go, okay, well, we healed it. We can share it. We can open up. How do we keep in this growth energy? How do we keep taking care of ourselves and increasing our power? Usually what we do is look back at the whole story and then start to beat ourselves up for what we didn't see, what we didn't know. Like, how did I not know this? What should I have done differently?
But why? Why should we beat ourselves up? It was perfectly done in the best manner that we knew how. We did everything we knew with the most information that we had and the best ability that we could. I did. I didn't know any better. I did the best I could with whatever I could, with every emotion and energy and everything that was around me that I knew how.
So even when we're on this journey of healing ourselves so we can connect and open up more of ourselves around us, we get stuck in the hindsight and we go back to those pressures of what the expectations maybe are of ourselves from outside of ourselves. And we go, we should have known, we should have done, we should do this. But the truth is that knowledge didn't exist. Even if it had been told to us, for some reason, our cells didn't accept it. At this point, when we start teaching, there are still moments that we'll teach in a basic instructor's class, or even if we touch on things from a basic practitioner's class, that we've known and worked with people for 20 years. And they'll come up and say, is this new? And we'll go, no, it's been around for 20 years. They weren't ready to hear it. Their mind didn't process it. They didn't understand it. And then that moment, they cleared things to hear it and know how to use it in their life. And it became brand new. Everyone's kind of on that journey. And if you really want to connect out and help people, it's about telling them how you're going through that journey to open up the door for them to make choices.
And sharing your stories and recognizing how beautiful of a person you are, each of you, so that you can see that your story matters. Because every single thing that you've done to this point is important and you're all unique.
We can recognize how to really keep ourselves in that balance of yesterday. And what we went through is a wonderful experience. It helped me grow informationally. It helped me gain knowledge. How do I apply it today to build towards my needs and towards the needs of what I bring to tomorrow? And it's a connected flow of those things together. You have to know how to be in this moment, how to embrace this moment, to know what its effects are going to be in the next moment and where you're going. You have to set that. You have to go, this is where I'm going, and believe in it. That's part of your healing journey, is to really believe where you're going is achievable and not be looking for someone to put the pressure off or someone to not let you get there or
someone to compare yourself with. The only person you're in comparison with is you, just you, because only you can change the things within yourself, no one else. Because even if that person looks like their life may be better or whatever, they're not you. You bring that special you.
Yeah, the only way that I found works for my brain, and I don't know if the same way works for your brain.
Let's find out. What are you going to say?
I like to think of best in myself. I'm going to be the best version of me I can, but I don't judge the best. I know that in that moment, I'm the best version I can be based off of everything that I've done before. Energetically, I challenge myself mentally to make sure that whatever it is, I know that within myself. And I apply that in every moment to know and go to sleep at night with the download that I was the best I could be, and tomorrow I'm still going to be the best I could be, and that's what I was put here to do.
I definitely like to apply that to my life. I can't say that I'm always doing things that are the best. I definitely am doing belief work on things when I'm not.
Well, that is the best. But see, I think that's the best version of you. Like, if you've done your best, then that's always enough, and that's the best you can be, and that's all any situation,
yes.
any opportunity is ever asked for. Are you growing and putting that in the ways that you know how? And I think
most definitely
when we hear best, we think that must mean all good things.
Yes.
But I don't think it is. Like, even if it's anger, or even if it's frustration, or even if it's
that's definitely not my best when I'm angry.
I look at that and I think that's the best way that my supercomputer could handle that situation. I mean, how awesome is that for your supercomputer to kick up like that chemical reaction and you to have that level of emotion?
Could have been better.
I mean, it's amazing. But when you look, if you look at the chemistry behind it, like you look at what's happening inside your body to have that reaction, and then if you were to do a math equation to calculate I like numbers.
We know.
To calculate everything that led into your body having that reaction, to know how to let you have that feeling, it's a pretty amazing thing.
It is amazing.
And it's flowing through your cells in that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then the question is, did you embrace it and go, this is what's going on? This is the knowledge. This is what I have.
It was a quick embrace. It went, okay, let's change this real quick.
But in order to change it, you have to kind of embrace it. Like, it was created for a reason.
Whoa,
right?
What was this? Let's go here. No.
Yeah, but you have to really embrace the perfection of it to figure out why it was started and what's great about it. Like, have that conversation.
Okay, let's go here.
Yeah, but then you can change it.
Yes.
But really, you really have to kind of go, wow, this is truly amazing, and it's important.
Oh, I know it's important.
It's important. You have to have an importance to it to go, hey, my cells kicked it up right now. This is important. And instead, what we see around the world is we see people have these things and take away the importance.
Well, at least we have the tools to be able to work through those things and recognize that we have the best version, and to be able to work through those if they're not what we want, the outcome. If it's not anger that we want to work with, then we can at least be able to work through it and say, okay, why do I have this here? How is it serving me? And be able to move past it so that we can have the outcome that we want. That's the best part of theta healing, I think, because you have the tools to change it within yourself right now. You're like, okay, let's just kind of take time out, use the restroom, change my things, come back and be like, I'm great. Life's great. I'm perfect. I'm good. I don't know who that was back there, but I'm good now.
That was you. That was you. And it was perfect.
Excuse me a second. I'm going to take a break.
Well, that was you.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
I know, it was a great one. When we can really embrace that and we know how to communicate it, things don't like collect and boil up. They just become an understanding of how we are in this moment and what we want to do with the next one. And our world, it heals when we can see that and we can see others' truths. It's always interesting to see different perspectives and see different journeys and know that there's such unique truths. They could be polar opposites, even in our own relationships. When we communicate something, you have to be able to really understand yourself and say, I'm being triggered, and it may not be you, because there's a comfort level.
Which is one of the nicest and most wonderful things ever to have in a relationship, whether it's romantic relationship or your family members or even within yourself. At least you can take that moment out and be like, yeah, this is not comfortable.
Yeah, I think on a group conscious level, there's been a training that things have to reach a space where they're too much before we're heard.
That bubbling up, that boiling where you're like, ah.
And that too much kind of boils over and we end up causing destruction instead of creation. And I think at any phase in any journey, when we build something or we redo something, we take things and maybe remove something and put something in its place. And we're always kind of building and rebuilding inside of our bodies, inside of our energies, inside of our lives. But when we just turn it to straight destruction is when we're waiting for those moments to just have that kind of effect. We're waiting for it to build up enough to allow us to kind of voice things and destroy certain things. And it's become a really weird group conscious connection all over the world.
Well, drama is such a big, huge thing that's so accepted and widely watched on TV, on social media, on different things. I mean, everybody wants to watch that drama, like, ooh, what's the next thing that's going to come on? But it's not really all that healthy. And it certainly isn't something that is that we necessarily want to have within ourselves if we're trying to heal, if we're trying to radiate our most perfect version of ourselves, things that we're trying to radiate to help inspire other people. It's definitely not something that helps us to keep our connection and allows us to move forward being our true selves.
Well, yeah, again, it gets us stuck in different locations, and we get lost in different versions of truths. And in a lot of ways, we let these things feel that pressure, and we let ourselves get guided and driven by other things than what we really want to create. And ourselves can create them in the background. And if we embrace that and we open up the door, then when we see people, we can see their truth. The great thing about connecting and opening doors with Theta Healing is you get the seventh plane understanding of people, the more things you clear in yourselves. So when a person comes in and sits down on their journey, it's their journey, and we're going to help them heal, but they have to make that choice. We have lots of people from lots of different backgrounds who learn things, and it's helped you on your journeys. When you've worked with other people, hey, if they don't make this choice, then we can do certain things and we can give lots of energy, but in a month, they might be right back where it all started again, or 3 months when it all started again. There's no one size fits all solution to everything. They have to figure that out in their connection to their creation and what they're using with unconditional love in their lives all the time. There's a reason why we don't have a book that says, hey, this is all the ways to work on this specific disease exactly. We have guidelines about where to start, but where it finishes is unique because every person's unique. And to get that understanding and to open that door, you have to allow yourself to really be present in your own truth, to see their truth, to see what they need in that moment. Sure, there's going to be people who come in and sit down and their needs are going to be specifically guided. Go see this person or work on this in your life to open up that door. And that's because they're ready to hear it. But within that, there's other things that they're opening to make choices with.
And as long as you're connected to the seventh plane and you're listening to that connection, allowing yourself to radiate what that is going on and trusting that connection when telling the person what they need, then it's perfect. Then you'll know exactly what they need to hear, what it is to help them going forward.
But to accomplish that, to recognize that and embrace it in the biggest moments of your life, you have to recognize how important your life really is and what your truth is to be in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
In every moment, there's a whole bunch of things coming together that are crossing that path at that same time. There are molecules and pieces of energy that have traveled billions of years. There are parts of you that are millions of years old energetically. And every day you need to interact with energies that have been around for millions of years for your body to work its best. And it's all coming together to put you in a position to do the next step. And you're communicating what your next step is, and they're communicating what their step is. And then you have to recognize it and then know the energy to create with. And I just don't know how you do that if you haven't healed the parts of yourself to see how much power you have in that moment and how to use it with love and radiate it for love around you.
It's true.
So I've talked for a little while again. You've talked for a little while again. We're gonna ask if it's okay to send a little bit of unconditional love to all of you guys.
Okay.
In fact, actually, let's just walk them up and then we'll send a little unconditional love and have them.
Go ahead.
You walked them up earlier.
Go do what you need to do. Do it.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to go back up to that seventh plane like we just did, and we're going to just experience a little bit of unconditional love, of that perspective, of that acceptance. We're going to make sure we let it into ourselves. So we're going to close our eyes. We're going to see ourselves above our space. We're going to be in that ball of light after we've gathered all the energy up, brought it through ourselves. Be whatever color you choose. You're inside that ball of light and you go up. Then you go through the sky, through the universe, through layers of white light and dark light and golden light, through a gray jelly-like substance and into a tingly white light. You're going to go all the way into that energy, all the way into it. It's just an energy of pure unconditional love and creation. And you're going to keep going until there's no stress. Until you can feel everything is taken care of and you can feel love and acceptance. You just keep going up all the way into it until you've reached those places. And then when you start to feel that in your body, you allow that energy to come in through your cells, and we'll help. We'll make sure that unconditional love gets sent through every cell in your body with your permission. But you want to make sure that that energy kind of comes down and fills up all of your body, that you can feel it in your fingers and you can feel it in your toes and you can feel it circulating through you, and that in that moment and can feel and understand that connection and that bond and your importance in that connection. While we're there, we have a couple extra downloads that you can recognize how important you are and maintain and hold the importance of everything around you together with unconditional love, to know the value of that moment.
And that you can recognize this connection that you can go to at any time, and that you know that you're loved and that you're special, and that you can radiate your unique, authentic self all the time, so you can attract people to you at any moment. If you like those downloads, make sure you say yes. Do you have some more you'd like to do?
No, I think that's perfect. And once you've allowed that energy to kind of come over all your cells, remember, you can go up here anytime things are a little overwhelming. You can use that energy of unconditional love to help recenter and help create and view the moments you want to with the highest truth, but starting with love in your life, and know how to use it as information to move forward. Once that's said, all those things together, allowed all through your cells, take in a deep breath, and you can open your eyes.
Thank you for having us today. We appreciate you. It was all great to see all your faces.
Yeah, making quick adjustments to the time and everything. We appreciate
Yes.
that.
That was very lovely.